Hello everyone, this is the official LEGO Bonsai Tree set from the all-new Botanical Collection. It comes with actually two completely different sets of parts to change its look, and I'll show you both in this review. The set feels very untraditional by LEGO standards, not only in how it appears, but how it is put together, and some of the build mechanics to how you do the assembly, not just what parts are put together, but how you do it. Now, I'll get into that in a little bit more detail, but I wanted to make sure that you'd be able to see this from all angles all the way around, because it is a pretty elegant thing when it's in its completed form, placed on the stand here. The stand is a separate part. It's called a die. You build the pot first, then you build the tree, then you put foliage on it, and the very last thing that you do is to build the brown wooden stand. Beneath this uses obviously a lot of earth tone pieces. There's a lot of dark brown in there. The foliage, interestingly, is mostly bright green, not regular green, but bright green, with some regular green pieces put on top to give it some extra texture and a little bit of extra visual detail. The stand is pretty straightforward and there's nothing really special to it. It's got way more strength than it needs. You could probably put our real bonsai tree on top of this, like a fairly large one, but it's not all that much to talk about. The pot, on the other hand, I find to be really elegant. It's kind of a simple shape, but it's very nice with a lot of studs on the side construction, a lot of repetition around there, but it doesn't need a tremendous amount of detail. Just these little bits of corner detail are nice. I appreciate the fact that it has rubber feet, so it's not able to slide around easily. It's not able to slide off its stand easily, even though it's all tiled over. These are just little tires that are mounted sideways and upside down and works very well. And then inside of the pot, they've got all these little suggestions of little river pebbles, either polished or semi-polished. Those are just 1x1 round tiles in the medium nougat color, the light nougat color, dark tan, and olive green. It was really interesting when you get to the step where you put these in. You open an entire bag, which has another bag inside of it, and everything is just different colors of these 1x1s. You empty the inner bag into the outer bag and then shake it up a bunch to mix everything together and then just pour the stuff in. So it's very effective. It feels very natural. It doesn't require that you attach 100 different tile pieces or studs or something to get them to be in just the correct locations. If you want to make these look a little bit better, you can spend some time doing so. Use a little hashi stick or pencil or something and organize everything if anything looks like it's not random enough to you. But I like that. It's simple. It works really well. It's really effective, and it's just different. The trunk itself looks really, really awkward and weird and unconventional, but it was actually very easy to put together. Surprisingly so for how it looks. It doesn't use too many super advanced techniques. There's some big brain stuff that went into the design, but when it comes to assembly, you don't need to have experience with LEGO in the past. You can follow the instructions very easily. As odd as this looks and as strange as some of the angles are, not a problem at all to put together. The dried vine-like elements that swirl around the outside are new in the reddish-brown color. They've been done in medium nougat before and also flat silver, but this is a very useful color for foliage-related things, and those are just intended to kind of give a little bit of swirl to the bark texture. You could see that if you want as actual vine-like structure on the outside, or you could just see it as an attempt to add a swirl element to the shape of the trunk itself. And I appreciate that. You can kind of tune those a little bit, tune their position around a little bit. This is the large macaroni piece used a couple of times on each of the major upper branches. Those were first famously introduced in I believe they were first introduced in the Mickey and Minnie Mouse large sculpture set, classic styled in black, and now we get them in plain reddish brown here. Got a nice little frog that's hidden under there. That's one of the designer's hallmarks. Always tries to hide those in there. We're going to see some non-hidden ones here pretty soon. And then the main foliage elements here, or foliage sub-assemblies, are really simple. Simple parts, simple assemblies, just a lot of them. You do need to kind of focus if you want to do these exactly how they are shown in the instructions, but of course you don't need to. This is symmetrical. The individual clumps of foliage are the same from branch to branch, except for the center one. That's just a little bit more simple. But by all means, feel free to change these up, randomize them a little bit, put your own touches into this, and follow the actual art. And when it comes to putting different touches on the foliage, LEGO gives you a really, really big head start by including extra clumps in flowering foliage form. So these 3 clumps are, again, identical to one another. And then you have one small one to replace the center bit. Each of these is built with lots of frogs. Those are in pink. It's the most frogs that have ever been included in a single set by far. So all the pink that you see in all of these, that's all frogs. All the regular pink, and then you get the darker kind of almost magenta, the darker hot pink color used with just regular flowers, and then white small leaf pieces that they're attached to. Once again, very simple assemblies, just takes you a while because there are so many pieces. What I love here is that this is designed to allow very, very quick and easy changeovers from one type of foliage to the other, from one style to the other. I'm going to try to do this fully in real time here. So unlike with the last time they did something like this, which was in the Ideas treehouse, here you don't need to go back to the instructions if you've already pre-built the second set of foliage, which you can do very easily. Just you don't have to share any parts. You don't have to take anything apart. Just remove these entire modules. And perhaps there were some design compromises made in those modules in order to allow this to be an easy process, but I am all for it because this is so much easier than converting the treehouse back and forth, which I did just one time. I did it one time from green to fall, or from spring to fall, and then one time going back to spring. But there we go. Now this is looking like a little micro, miniaturized sakura tree, little cherry blossom tree that is fully blossoming. And it just brings so much life to any scene. It's so vibrant. Once again, consider changing some of these positions. There's not a lot of variety in there, but it kind of looks like it. The selection that the designer made for the default positions or suggested positions for all the frogs, for example, in the directions they face, makes it feel like they are kind of just going all over the place. I really like that. I like how simple it is, and yet any sort of randomization that you want to do is only going to make it more of a personal experience for you. And of course, they encourage you to do more. And thankfully, they are very hands-on about encouraging you to do more. In the back of the instruction manual, they show you a bunch of alternate takes on the theme. Now, none of these can be built with the parts included in just this set, but it's imagination food. And some of these things are subtle, and some of them are not subtle at all. Some of them are pretty wacky. Like just on this page here, you go from, hey, let's just make a smaller tree. Let's just make a bigger tree. Let's make an older looking tree. Let's make a tree made of minifigs that are all connected and tied together with studded string. Okay, like they're balloons or something. Or over here, upper left, you got one that's made with a bunch of old Bionicle masks, and the whole thing looks very Bionicle themed. Bottom left, you got the aquarium there. Bottom right looks more sci-fi. Upper right looks, well, just like a maybe a dead one, or just something that is sans foliage. It's in its hibernating phase. So I really appreciate their attempts to get people's creativity going. All that said and done, the spare parts selection for this set is shockingly paltry. The set retails for $50 US, 50, which gives it an amazing looking price to part ratio. Do keep in mind that, of course, many of the pieces, as shown, are just 1x1s, So the value here is nowhere near as good as the price to part ratio number suggests, but I personally think that the value for the amount of stuff that you get here, the price to volume of stuff ratio, is very, very good. They easily could have charged more for this, and they didn't. I think that the overall experience that you get here is much more than the sum of the parts, and I can't even counter that argument. If it didn't come with the alternate set of foliage, I still think that it would be reasonably priced for just, all that goes into this. It's really good. It's really, really good. But then including all those alternate pieces as well, and not even requiring you to take stuff apart and really kind of rack your brain and your heart to make a tough decision at any time. You can just swap the foliage out. That is wonderful. I appreciate it so much. I like really everything about this set. Could it be better? Of course, everything could be better, but there's nothing here that speaks to me and says this needed to be better, because just it is nice. It is really, really nice. So I've got nothing else really to say about it then. Thank you for watching. If you find joy, happiness, calmness, peace in looking at this creation that the Lego designer put together, consider checking out either my pure build, which is done in real time with no speaking, no music in the background or anything. A lot of people say they get an ASMR-like effect without the awkward creepiness of some ASMR content out there. It's just the sounds, really good stereo sound of Lego pieces being put together in real time, in fairly good quality. Or if you don't have time for all that, but you do want to see the build, consider checking out my speed build. I've got separate channels for each of those types of content. You can find links to those channels in the end screen that's coming up right now, or in the video description, or in my featured channels list. Check out some of the other stuff that I do. Thank you for watching though, and I will talk to you again soon, and keep working to bring you more reviews. Bye for now.